Kawhi and the Clippers coming off of one of their worst losses of the season against the Orlando Magic. The good news is they're in Portland taking on a struggling Damian Lillard-led Portland Trailblazers team. First quarter, it's Jusuf Nurkic tying this game up at 11. Then the Claw will take over. It's Leonard inside. Eric Gordon's like, if he's good inside, I'm going to take a wild guess and, maybe think he'd be good outside. And that was a good idea. Kawhi starting to peak at the right times. Other end, Anthony Simons with a midi. Then you can never forget about Dame Dollar attacking the rim with ferocity and coming away with a game-tying layup. Other end, though, it's the other Clippers star. PG 1-3-4-3. Clippers lead it by 7. Speaking of threes, Damian Lillard's knocked in a couple threes in his career over Russell Westbrook and Paul George as teammates. He gets another one to go. This time around, Russ and PG get the last laugh as Russ goes inside to George for the deuce. And then Eric Gordon, 3 of his 20 points. Clippers up by 7. It's EG again for 3. How big of a piece will he be for this Los Angeles Clippers team in their postseason run? It's George. He led everybody in scoring with 29. Blazers trying to make one last run. It's Simons for 3. Not going to be enough, though. Clippers pretty much lead this one throughout. They beat up on a Blazers team that's pretty close to being done with this season. You see Clippers owner Steve Ballmer making a trip to see Kawhi do things like that. 24 points, 5 rebounds for the Claw. The Blazers are now 31-40 on the season. I think they're about to shut Damian Lillard down in a couple days here. Clippers improved to 38-34 on the season with the 15-point win. Well, oftentimes things in life change. Sometimes, though, things stay the same. If you remember correctly, the last time Paul George and Russell Westbrook were teammates taking on Damian Lillard's Trailblazers in Portland was 2019. If you remember correctly, that series ended dramatically as Damian Lillard buried a pretty much 40-foot three-pointer to send Paul George and Russell Westbrook home for good. The Oklahoma City Thunder would then move not only Paul George the following offseason, but also a player that had played his entire franchise with that organization. They also traded Russell Westbrook. Well, now, once again, PG and Russ are teammates, and pretty much they're the same players. Paul George remains a phenomenal scorer and playmaker. That's likely a number 2, 2.5 on a ball club. That series about winning a championship. Russell Westbrook continues to try to figure out what is the exact perfect game that he can bring to the table to help a team win seriously in the NBA. They're now together in Los Angeles. I don't want to focus this video on them, though. I'll have opportunities to talk about the Clippers in the playoffs because they will most likely be there in the playoffs. You want to know who will not be in the playoffs? Will be Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. I said oftentimes things change. Sometimes they stay the same. And for Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers, they're falling out of the play-in tournament situation, and he is not shying away from it. He knows the end is near for Portland this year. He said, we pretty much fallen out of the race for the 10th spot unless we go out there and win every game. I just love to play. I love the competition. I haven't been ready to give that up, but it does come to a point in time. When do you stop putting your competitive nature out front? So he's saying, I'm about to shut it down for the year. And that's been reported by Chris Haynes. I recently met the brother. The Portland Trailblazers are considering shutting down Damian Lillard as they fall well behind the 10th spot in the Western Conference play-in situation. They're most likely about to shut Damian Lillard down in the next couple of days. So if you got plans to see Damian Lillard this season, you want to get there quick, fast, and in a hurry. His season is nearly over for Portland. I don't understand why he just can't go out and finish the regular season. He's not a guy that's shown me that he gets injured, severely often. He'd have a few months of time to rest. I guess you don't want him to go out there and do anything bad to his knee. I would just tell Damian Lillard, look, you're so great shooting. Just don't attack the rim for the next 10, 15 games in the season. Just shoot jump shots to give the fans something to see, but it looks like he's going to shut it down really, really soon. It's the same song with Damian Lillard every single year. I told y'all this, and I say it again. I knew exactly how this season was going to go because this has happened so many times with Portland. If you remove the 1 year that they were able to get to the Western Conference Finals and get swept by the Golden State Warriors without Kevin Durant, this is how every season goes for the Blazers in the Damian Lillard era. Out the gate, they play really well as a team. They show a lot of promise. And you think, is this the year the Portland Trailblazers get over the hump? At one point, it was with C.J. McCollum. He's been pretty much swapped out point for point with Anthony Simons. The Blazers play good early. They get to a point in the middle of the year where Damian Lillard goes down with injury. He comes back. He looks super heroic. He puts up some phenomenal numbers. This year, he gave you a 71-point game. You said, man, this is one of the greatest scorers of all time, one of the greatest shooters of all time. Can he lead the Blazers? Then the reality hits after All-Star break. All the teams around the league pick up their level of play. Guys are trying to make the postseason. Guys are thinking their next contract, their roster spot, their legacies. Portland can't get to the level where other teams are playing. They lose a lot of games. They fall out of serious playoff contention, and Damian Lillard sings the same song. If I'm right about this year, I do think I'll be right about how the Damian Lillard story plays out. He kind of alluded to it in a recent interview with J.J. Redick. He said people are not going to talk about him. They're going to talk about guys like Luka and other legends of our game once Dame retires. To me, that's an admission that he will never win a championship. Because doesn't Dame know if he wins one championship, he will be talked about historically? He's pretty much telling you he's never going to win a title right there and there. He pretty much said it. NBA champions get talked about. But he knows the way the Portland Trailblazers are going, he's not going to get talked about because they're never going to win anything. I believe at the end of Damian Lillard's career, he's nobody's victim, by the way. I would never put that on Dame's top. He's nobody's victim. He's not going to act like a victim. But I do believe he will bring up a lot about how he doesn't get brought up in certain conversations. And I just want this video to set in time. And I want this to be a reminder for Damian Lillard and Damian Lillard supporters. It's seasons like this that Damian Lillard have allowed to go to waste. I am not telling Damian Lillard to lead the Portland Trailblazers. That's never been my MO. What I am telling Damian Lillard to do, and this is my advice outside looking in. That man is collecting some serious money. He's already going to make over $500 million. When it's all said and done, Damian Lillard's doing life just well. I don't need to tell him anything about life. But if it's about winning a championship, what Damian Lillard needed to do in his prime was not just necessarily leave Portland, but he at least needed his contracts to get down to the final year to put pressure on the Blazers to go out and make moves that they're never going to make as long as they got Damian Lillard on their roster. The Portland Trailblazers, it's not like they're not spending money, but they're not going as deep as some other teams are in luxury tax scenarios to spend the top dollar. If Damian Lillard put pressure on the Blazers, I believe they would do that. They have an up-in-the-air ownership situation right now. It's been that way over the last few years. Rest in peace to Mr. Allen. I believe the Blazers could be influenced if they thought they had a real chance to win a darn thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't have insights in the Blazers organization. It just doesn't seem like the Blazers have been committed to being one of the 5-6 most invested teams in winning a championship. But I don't get the notion that they wouldn't do it for the right situation. They're paying Damian Lillard a lot of money. By the way, we're talking about $60 million a year for Damian Lillard in the upcoming years here. I just believe that organization would be willing to pay a second star a good amount of money, max level money, if it made sense for Portland, would sell those arenas out even more. Right? I just believe they would. Dame never allowed his contracts to get close to free agency. I don't know, was it fear of injury, fear of not being able to make that money or whatever. I don't know what it was, but he never allowed that to be the case. And it just seems like his career is going to be, I was so loyal to Portland, and Portland wasn't as loyal to me as I was to them. At what point, I've asked this question many times, at what point does Damian Lillard get over the fact that the Portland Trailblazers took a chance on a young man out of Weber State, and he has paid dividends, a phenomenal first ballot Hall of Fame player? At what point does he get over that? and say, yo, it was my hard work. It was my time, my commitment, my love of the game that put me in this position to be one of the greatest players at the point guard position that we've ever seen. And Portland made a right move doing business with me. They deserve a couple pats on the back, but damn, not 15 years worth of pats on the back. Sheesh Louise. It's time for Damian Lillard to put pressure on Portland. If he doesn't, which he doesn't really have the leverage now to do so because he's locked up for the future, the same song will continue to happen for the Blazers. They'll start out good, they'll end up bad, and another year go by with Damian Lillard not being relevant around the months that really matter, where your legacies get built and why people remember you